Hello everyone, I am Samantha. Hello, I'm Samantha, thank you and welcome. Today we're going to learn about how to turn on the muscles of our arms and release the fascia of the arms so we can do that. This is really important in this day and age because we as humans have not used our arms in a long time. We're not really carrying things around. We're not climbing up very many things anymore. The most that we do with our arms is this motion. And in this motion, we are generally going to prop up our wrist or our hand on a table. And so the only thing that we do is lift the wrist, and we're using the muscles of our hands. And what this causes is carpal tunnel. You get repetitive use injury. And at the end of the day, people's shoulders are hurting. Their shoulders are hurting because the arms, since they're not working anymore, they're not carrying a load, the arms have just become dead weight that hang off of the body. So they're hanging forward as dead weight, and the chest collapses in the front, and the trapezius muscles start to have to hold up the weight of the arms. And those get really, really tight on everybody. So we're going to learn how to find those muscles of the arms that are unused and learn how to fire them in everyday life. And we're also going to learn how to release the muscle with a fascia massage so that we can access them easier. And we're going to do this by using Bowspring alignment method. So get ready and enjoy. So first, I'll share with you something called seed hand, and I'll come up a little bit closer. So we put the hand in a specific position because the fascial lines start at the fingertips. So if we can engage from the beginning, then we can pick up those unused muscles up along the line. So to do that, first we're going to soften the fingers, which may feel a little difficult, so shake them out a little bit. I know that I'm used to carrying stress in my hands. My whole life I've been white knuckling things. You might do it yourself, whether it is your steering wheel, you hold on real tight, your cell phone, your keyboard, your pen. When you're writing, your hands get tired. That is an indication that you are working from your fingers and not from your whole arm. So shake it out, get soft fingers. All right, so now I've got relatively soft fingers. I'll check them, make sure, yeah, they're pretty soft now. And then I want to carve out a hole in the palm. And in Bowspring, we call that a hollow. So I want to get it as deep as can be. That deep hollow in the palm, like I could palm a ping pong ball. Yeah, and then, keeping soft fingers, hollow in the palm, I'm going to draw the thumb mound right here and the pinky mound right here towards each other. And when you can do that strongly, you create a crevice here, or a butt. And we want to have that crevice all the time. When we have that crevice, we can have equalized strength on the front and the back chain of the arm, and we'll be able to tone our arm better. So let's curl the fingers a little bit more, make sure that they're still soft, so that the hand is now in a cone shape. Cone shape is different from a fist shape, so this is a fist shape. We want the fingers to be staggered so we can really draw together the thumb and pinky mound. And you can squeeze it together like I'm doing, creating like a hand taco. The thumb touches the first or the middle digit of the second finger. And a tendency here for most people is to have a hitchhiker's thumb, but that will cut off your fascial line that's connected to your bicep. So the hardest one to squeeze in, is it going to be the thumb mound or the pinky mound? Can you guess? I'll tell you the answer. It's going to be the pinky mound for most people, and you can see my thumb mound is a lot more developed, and it's harder for me to squeeze the pinky line in. It's no coincidence that most people, the tricep is weak because that's related to the pinky line. So the more you can squeeze the pinky mound in, the more you'll be able to pick up the tricep. And you can see when I did that, it toned the tricep. So let's take our seed hand, and I'll step back here. Push your thumbs long, so as long as you can get them. And I'm going to come down on my block because so my head is not cut off. Push your thumbs as long as you can get them. Pushing them away, and draw your pinky mounds in as much as you can. So squeezing them so much that you can feel a tone on the back of the arm. And you can reach around and check, do I feel that tone from squeezing the pinky mound in? And I'm feeling a little bit here, but not much yet. Right? So with the palms facing backwards in seed hands, the eyes of the elbows should face each other. And you can see the eye of my right elbow is kind of turned out a little bit. And that's from overuse of my right arm. I'm very right dominant. And you might notice one is different than your others, or you might notice that even with your palms facing backwards, the eyes of your elbows still point forward. Okay, so we're going to try a little fascia release here. So first take the left arm to a chin-up bar, like you're holding up a chin-up bar. And then take the right hand and wrap it on the opposite side. And you're just going to grab the flesh and wrap it around externally. So I'm grabbing everything. I'm grabbing the skin, the muscle, the fat, and I'm just wrapping it around the bone, doing it pretty firmly here. And as I do it, I'm thinking I'm rotating the humerus, the arm bone, outward. Good. And then I'm going to take the left hand and put it on the side of my head. We call this ecstasy arm in the bowspring. And I'll take my right hand and cup the elbow. Okay. Now I'm going to pull the elbow inward towards my nose. At the same time, I'm trying to stick my left shoulder outward. So pulling the elbow in to stick the shoulder out. Okay. You might have never done this before. It might feel weird. And now I'm just going to try to slide that shoulder blade up and down, proving its mobility and glideability. Opening up fascia that may have been stuck for quite a while. And then releasing that down. Now I'm going to take my hand to the forearm, and I'm going to grab all of the arm, the bones, the muscle, the skin. I'm going to wrap it inward. Okay, opposite the way that I did the upper arm. While I'm doing this, I'm still trying to energetically, isometrically rotate my upper arm away from me, outward. So I'm turning inward with the forearm, and I'm opening up with the shoulder. Okay, and I'll keep doing that several times. As I get further on down the forearm, I'll start to rotate the hand outward. You can see, I'll come a little bit closer. So I'm rotating the arm inward and the hand outward, and you might notice your hand naturally forms that seed hand when you do. We're opening up the fascia that gets stuck and keeps us in the positions that make us hurt. All right? Let's do it to the other side. So right hand comes up to a chin-up bar. You'll take the flesh from the outside and wrap around the bone, pushing it in all ways that you can. Thinking about opening up the shoulder, opening up the chest. When you get that a few times. Oh, I forgot, try to feel the difference between the arms, okay? The arm that you just wrapped all the way. Move it around. Feels a little bit different. Feels a little bit freer. Okay, and then we're going to try what we did before after we do both arms. So I'm wrapping around the bone. Then I'm going to take the hand to ecstasy. So hand to the side of the head. Cup the opposite elbow. And then pull inward towards my nose as I push out with my shoulder. So I'll show you that from the front. Pulling the elbow inward to widen my right shoulder outward. And then I'm going to take the shoulder, glide it up and down, prove its mobility. All right, and then we'll go to the forearm. So the forearm, that's my favorite part. I'm going to rotate it inward, and I'm getting a good grip, wrapping it and turning it, both the bones, the skin, the flesh, and at the same time I'm isometrically rotating the right shoulder outward. And your skin might get a little red like mine is when you're doing this, but it's okay, it'll go away. And as you get further down, my right arm, it's a little bit harder to rotate this outward while this is going inward. But I'm still working it. It'll get easier with time. And I love this part here. When I wrap the lower forearm inward and then turn the hand outward, I really feel the fascia opening. I can feel new neural pathways being made, more access. There we go. And then shake it all out. Soften the fingers. So the fingers can get hard in this. They have the tendency to do so. I'm going to come down to my knees. Okay, and we'll do earth arms once again. So soften your fingers. Get that hollow in your palm. Squeeze the thumb and the pinky mound together, concentrating on the pinky mound to turn on the tricep. So if you can see it from the side, I'll get the hands a little bit more forward. The elbows point outward. The eyes of the elbows point towards each other. Good, and I let the shoulders just float like I've got helium balloons under my armpits. You can reach back and touch and see, is your tricep being engaged here? And you might have a little bit easier time doing it now. I'll start a little bit of a wing flap. You might be able to feel it a little bit more now. And then we're actually going to try it on something. So I've got a little stool here. And I'm going to bring my hands to the stool. And I want to try to get the wrist to curl inward, the opposite of what we're used to doing, the flip of the wrist when we're driving, when we're texting, or when we're typing, or using a mouse. I want to get the wrinkle to be on the other side, okay? So I'll just grab the side here like this, and you can do this when you're driving. So try to get the wrinkle on the inside when you're driving. Right now I'm using a stool, so I'm squeezing the base of the palm to try to get that butt, that crevice in the hand. And then when I did that, my armpit got really deep. I could put a ball up in there, and that is good news. When you can lift your armpit into a deep hollow, you're turning on the muscles and the fascia of the arm all the way up. And I'll reach around and check, yes, my tricep is engaged. That's the hardest one to get. Good, and when I do that, I can slide shoulder blade up, one side and then the other, proving their mobility, their glideability. Good. And then we can pretend like we're driving. So hold your wheel pretty far away from you. Yeah, get the creases on the inside of the wrist. Squeeze the base of your palm and then check your tricep. Is your tricep working? When we just hang onto the wheel with our hands, we're pulling that dead weight of our arm down and we're taxing our tricep, our traps. So that is why we have sore shoulders all the time. Instead, lift the backs of your armpits, squeeze your pinky mound in with a seed hand on the wheel. And it'll take some getting used to, but pretty soon you're going to prefer it. All right, now we're going to do a little bit on the floor. Poses with your hands on the floor are going to be a little bit tricky at first, especially if your arms don't have a lot of muscular tone on it, so we're not going to spend a lot of time there. I'm going to move my mat back a little bit. Actually, I'm just going to bend the camera down so you can see me better. There we go. So you might have been to a yoga class before and thought, yoga is not for me because I cannot put my hands on the floor that long to do a tabletop pose or to do a downward dog. It just hurts my wrists too much. Well, in Bowspring, we're going to do everything that I just taught you. So we're going to incorporate, soften the fingers, get a hollow in the palm, and we're going to squeeze the thumb and the pinky mound together. And we do that in every hand pose. For the reason is that we want to use the whole arm for everything at the same time. That's why when you train in the Bowspring, you won't have a problem with that eventually. And if you've had any wrist pain, carpal tunnel, it'll go away eventually. So we will sit on your heels or a block, reach forward and touch your fingernails to the floor. So try to create that crevice in the base of your palm and let that inform your arm all the way up. And you can reach and check. I recommend that you do. Okay. And then once we've done that for a while, keep your fingertips connected and slide your palms down. So my palms are down, my fingerprints are touching. My fingers are not straight, they're not hard, they're soft and springy. The base of my palm is really strong and I'm still trying to create that crevice. Instead of pushing down on the floor, I've got a pulling back action. And when I can pull back like that, I can feel my armpits lift and my ribs get light. And that's a really good feeling. It takes the pressure out of the shoulders, it expands the back, and it tones the arms. So this is active. All right, we're not going to spend a lot of time here. If your hands do get sore, if your wrists get sore after any positioning on your hands, this is a good one to do. So squeezing the wrist, tacoing the hand, so folding your hand on itself, and then rainbowing the hand, so turning the fingers down. And you'll be surprised at how quickly the pain will dissipate after that. So we'll come back down, dome to spring. And we'll walk our knees back to an all-fours position. We're not going to stay here long. So take that seed hand again with the right hand and reach it forward. Touch down the pinky edge of it, so the knife edge side of the hand to the floor. Resist your shoulder towards the sky as you lower that elbow down. Don't drop your wrist. So there's a space between my wrist and the floor. Keep your whole ribs high and do it on the other side. It's called an ice pick. Ice pick your left seed. Lower the elbow, okay? So there is space between the wrist and the floor, and the sides of the pinky sides of the hands are really digging in the floor. And if I check my triceps, dang, they are hard right now. This is how you activate those arm muscles and get them working when they haven't been for a while. Keep your ribs high. Pull with your arms to stretch your belly long. It's like a Chinese finger trap. Your ribs are going forward, your hips are going back, and your waistline's getting long, strong, and lean. One more pulse here. Breathe in and exhale. Spring load your hips back. Float your heart. And you can try these exercises throughout your day, and I recommend taking a break from mousing or typing and holding your wrist, turning it the other way. Try these fascia massage techniques to see if your body doesn't start feeling better soon. If you have any questions about this video, please do not hesitate to leave a comment or ask me directly in a personal message. Thank you and have a great day.